Hi at all Blender beginners. I want to show you how to work with Blender, what does Blender, and for what it is used. So what we see here is the Blender version 2.8. There are many versions out there from Blender, old versions, new versions, and every time there comes new versions. And it can happen that you learn that and the next one looks other, then you must learn again. That happens, but equal. That's not the point. The version you see is here. That's the 2.8. There you stand your version number. There's the memory that is used from the PC. That is the RAM memory. Here stands the objects. We have one object in a moment. That is tris. That's a triangles. That in this object here, it has 6 faces. Vertex 8. It is a cube, and it is in a collection. So when we want to zoom on this, we can roll the middle mouse button. So at first, that is a toolbar. This toolbar changes when you go in other menus or such. That here is to select. That is the cursor. We have here a middle cursor. That's for movement. When you click there, you see here comes arrows. With them you can move that. That is rotation. You see we have other ball there, and so we can rotate it then there. Or we can scale it and transform it. Transform makes here no sense, but you see you can do it. That is a pencil. There you can write something on the desk or so. When you hold the middle, the left mouse button, you can take the eraser to delete what you write there. That is everywhere where there is this little triangle in the right down corner. You can hold the mouse button, the left mouse button, and then it opens up a menu there. There you can change then the option. That's for measuring how long is something from there till there. You can see then directly how it's good. There's a toolbar, and here that is called the outliner. Here you see the objects, all that you build it. That is the cube. What we see else there is that is the camera, and we see here the camera, and we see here this the light, the sun. Here are all objects in that you have in the scene. And we speak from scene. You can have more scenes than one. It's like levels in games or such, yeah. And this object in one collection. You can have more collections with different inputs. So what we else can do with 3D programs? We can model 3D things, so build that. We can sculpt, that is like you get a stone and make out of the stone figure, human or such else. That is sculpting. UV editing is you must, when you have built an object, you must get from the 3D object to a 2D model of that. So it must be unwrapped. And when it is unwrapped, that's called UV editing. That is a little bit tricky in a moment, you think, but it isn't. It is really simple. So texture painting is when you put textures, you paint them on the mesh. Shading, there you can build materials like stone or wood or something else. All materials you can build there. Animations, there you can animate models. You can animate a butterfly that flies. You can animate water falling down or else. All that you can imagine. Rendering is for make pictures of the scene like it is actually. You can render scenes, objects, and animations, and films, and all this stuff. Compositing is the afterwork, that is when the render is done. Then you can make that it looks like from Kino there, like fantastic movie or so. They have that with the compositing that gives the effects that it looks more than it is. Scripting, that is the programming language of Blender. It is Python. It's the programming language there. There you can write scripts and let them run. Good. So this here, what we see here, is called the 3D view. There you see your object and all other that is in the scene. This red line means that is the x-axis. You see it here too. It is the x. And the green one is the y-axis. And the blue is z, but you don't see them in a moment. That is the top-down axis. Good. We go here to the movement. Then you see that we have arrows here. These arrows are to edit the object, to move the object, to rotate them, to change them. Yeah. Good. You see here the axis too. So you see every time which axis you want to add. That is the toolbar I said. That is the menu, like in all other things too. The outliner, here you can name that. When you click double here, you can say rectangle or such. You can give them a name, yeah. And you can make that eye here off or on to see them or not see them. You also can open that. Then you get the other values of that object. What is in there, has material, is there an animation on, and so on and so on and so on. Good. Here we have the possibilities to work with that mesh that we have there. We call it mesh. Each object is a mesh. No, not really. Objects and meshes. Yeah, meshes are built things like circles, planes, cubes, icospheres, cylinders, cones, torus, all this stuff are meshes. And objects can be also light, camera, force fields, and such more. But that doesn't care in a moment. So we have two modus in Blender. We have the object modus and we have the edit modes. In the object mode where we are now, you can move objects, scale objects, rotate objects, can join them together or make other things with them, yeah. But when you want to change the object itself, the inner part, then you need the edit mode. So when click there, you see we have different modes. We are in the object mode now. There is an edit mode, a sculpt mode, a vertex paint, a white paint, and a texture paint. The edit mode, you see it changes. We have now here this object in the edit mode view. So that means now we can handle each of the edges, of the points of this model. We can change all, and when we have changed, we go back to the object mode to get another object and edit them or such. Yeah. Important to know is you select an object by right click on them, and when you want to deselect them, you click somewhere else with the right mouse button. Right mouse button on the object, this arrow appears. Because we have here the movement on, when you have another thing on, they are not there. That is, each option has another status. Good. I go to movement back, that is the most I use. For all these options here, scale, rotate, there are shortcuts. So for rotate, it is press R on the keyboard in the 3D view, not here, not there, in the 3D viewport. Then you can rotate that. When you press here an S on the keyboard, you can scale that. When you take here an M for a movement, that is not correct, because then you move it to another collection. So better don't do that. Good. That are the basics for that. When you hold the middle mouse button in the 3D view here, you can move around the object, around the view. That is by holding the middle mouse button, mouse wheel when you press them. Good. When you roll the middle mouse wheel, you can zoom out or in. Right mouse button to select, left mouse button to use arrows to set the 3D cursor somewhere. Yep, that's the base stuff. What we see here is an other part that is for animation. So that means you can have different pictures on the one side here completely. That means I can take that here, go on the line here, and hold left mouse button and move it up or down. So I have two views, and I can make that also with this one, move them around, and with the other ones, I think you know what I mean. But that isn't not really needed, because we have for each thing that we want to do an option here. So when you want to shade anything, you go there. Then you have a complete other look. That is then the shader editor. When you want to model, you go back. Then you're here in the edit mode. You see it because it is orange. And here the options, the toolbar has now changed and give you options for the editing the mesh. When you click on layout, then you have that where we started. And so each one has another look. when you click there, and other options. I know that looks much in a moment. It is much, that's true. But it's like with all things. You must simply start, try, and then you will get better, and understand more where is what and why it is there and not wherever and such. Okay. It should be part 1 of the beginning tutorials. Important is here. When you click here, that is the viewport, like we look on the object, and when we get here to wireframe, then it looks like a wireframe of the object. When we click here to solid view, that is the name of that, then you see the object in gray colors only, no real colors, no red, no blue, only gray. Then we have here material view. That normally shows when you have textures on the object. Textures are pictures. A picture of a tree or such, and you can put that here on the faces. That is a face. That I should explain more. So we go in the edit mode. We can do it here and there, or we press tab on the keyboard. That makes the same. Now we are in edit mode. You'll see here 3 icons. The one is the Vertex Select. A vertex is one point on the mesh. This point can be edited, can be grabbed. So when you press G on the keyboard, you can grab them somewhere where you want, and that you can do with each one in each direction. And to accept the movement, the grabbing, so you press G and move them where you want, and then left click to accept the position there. Good. That are words. Words are the points, and they are only seeable in the edit mode, not in the object mode. Then we have here edge selection. An edge is this here. These long lines, that is called an edge. You can select them by right click, right mouse button click. You can delete them, you can scale them, S to scale, R to rotate, G to grab. That, and you have here much other options what you can do with them, but that we speak later. Then at least we have here faces. Faces are the faces of the object. You can right click on the faces, then it is selected, and you can edit them. You can press S to scale, rotate, like this every time the same. When you now want to have here the arrows, then you must click here on the movement, then it is there. Now you can bring them to move in directions and such more. Good. So that are in the edit mode the 3 important things what you want to change, that you must get in your mind when you want to change only the word. You click the word. When you take the edge, or the face. Good. With tab on the keyboard, we come out to the object mode then, or you click here on object mode. That's the same. Good. That was much information for today. That here will be our next next tutorial part, and much more other things, but I think for the moment that is enough, so we see us in the next tutorial part. Thanks a lot.